This is the second part of a two-part video. If you haven't watched the first part, please go watch it because it's gonna be hard to understand this part. The link is gonna be in the description down below. Now that you have watched the first part, let's talk about how he's gathering information and googling stuff.
So first of all, I feel like this is a friend of yours that had died. I have a young soul that's coming through that passed in a motorcycle accident or passed in
Oh my God, is that Jason?
Yes, it would be. Who is that to you?
My dad's best friend.
Was he hit by a car or...
Oh my God, he died on a motorcycle before I was born. I never met him.
He's here.
Oh my
He's
God.
here.
My dad actually went to a medium before and he was the first person that came through.
This person has nothing to do with this girl.
I feel like this is a friend of yours that had died.
She hadn't even met him.
Before I was born, I never met him.
Her dad went to a psychic and this person was the first person to come forward.
My dad actually went to a medium before and he was the first person that came through.
What is this telling you? They both googled his father's name and this guy showed up on Google.
You gotta know, James, I don't know your life. I don't Google this before I come on here that I talk to you. And this is not on Google, correct?
I'm not googling things. This is not on Google, right? How do you know this is not on Google if you are not googling it?
Godmother who passed, who came through right away saying like, I'm the godmother, I'm the godmother.
It's amazing. I'm speechless. I can't even talk about it because I'm going to start to cry.
Now, this is your mother's sister?
This is my mother's twin sister. She died of cancer. She was my godmother, and she was just one of the most important people in my life. And she was the reason why I adopted from Ethiopia, and also was the inspiration and the drive behind me writing and publishing my book that's coming out.
Alright, how do you think he knows about this girl's godmother? I mean, he came on to the show. This girl is there. Basically, she's working there somewhere for the team. How does he know about it? She said it and she doesn't even realize.
And also was the inspiration and the drive behind me writing and publishing my book that's coming out.
My godmother was the reason that I'm writing a book that is gonna be published soon. So she's writing a book about her godmother. How does he not know about this on Google? Alright, maybe you're not gonna believe me. Okay, so hear it from this guy.
Right away when I'm connecting you, Ryan, I'm pretty sure it's with you. I have a soul that's stepping forward that tells me that they passed of suicide here in this world. Who's a part of the suicide?
Yeah, I lost a brother that way.
Do you want to know everything?
Yeah.
Your brother was telling me he did not take his medication the way that he was supposed to. And
Yeah,
he's-
he wouldn't take medication. He saw somebody maybe once or twice. He wasn't really even open to seeing professional help. But he's found peace on that side.
He is, and he's with you all the time. Because when I went to look over and I asked everyone to step away, your brother was right next to you and he kept whispering suicide in my ear.
This is a very good one. How does he know all these? He must be a psychic.
Yeah. Now, of course, I want to believe that, and I hope that is 1,000% true. But some people would say, well, you could Google that now because that's become public knowledge and part of my story. So, what do you say to that?
What do you say to that? This is all on Google. It is public knowledge. What is gonna be his response? Let's see. He's gonna have a very nice, good response.
I don't even know who you are before I came on this, to be honest with you.
I didn't even know who you were. Really? And listen.
And the same thing with Val. You can't Google things with Val's mother or Val's grandmother.
You can't Google about here. How do you know? So you Googled. Alright, so before I go to the ultimate proof, I wanna also show you some contradictions in his words.
The way it works for me is that these are people who have already died. I don't predict things.
So basically he's just connecting to the other side. He's not predicting anything. He's not predicting the future.
Like, did you know this e-show is coming?
I did.
You did?
I did. My grandmother told me years ago, you're going to be on TV, you're going to have a show.
So years ago, his grandmother told him the future. He told him that he's gonna be in a show. But he was not predicting the future. He didn't know about the future.
The way it works for me is that these are people who have already died. I don't predict things.
And why the spirit knows about the future? Like when somebody dies, his or her soul is gonna become God?
She says, but I don't want you to cry anymore. She says, I want you to know that I am here.
He's always talking about that the spirits are always with you, they love you, they want to acknowledge that they are there for you, they're always gonna be with you, alright? So they know everything about you, about the family, about many things. They know everything. That's why he knows so many things. Apparently, that's why he knows so many things, because the spirits know about the family and they tell him everything, right? But look at this.
And she wants to know if you're cooking for the dog.
The dog gets cooked for. Oh yeah.
So does she know about anything or not? Is she there or not? If she's there, she should know that they are cooking for the dog. And if she's not there, then how do you know anything about the family? I mean, don't even take it from me. Take it from his own Wikipedia page. Paranormal investigator Kenny Biddle wrote, I watched Fraser ask entire rows of people to stand up at a time, then comments throwing out general statements. For example, I'm seeing a father figure that passed, and waiting for someone in the row to claim was their relative. He was actually giving himself a 1 in 12 chance that someone will be hooked. Biddle also noted that Fraser may playfully scold an audience member if they were not forthcoming with a psychic connection required to continue his routine. The New York Times reported.
Matt, I was Googling you yesterday, and then I realized that the New York Times did like an investigation into your practices along with other mediums. How do you deal with that, and how do you prove to them that you do have this special power?
I prove it every day at my live events and my shows. You know, I think everybody walks in a skeptic. And, you know, the New York Times came to an event. They didn't know how it was that I was doing what I was doing. They didn't know how I was able to read people and connect with people. And they came, and the reporter who originally came to discredit me, had a life-changing experience. You know, he came and was like, oh my God, you know, there is something to this. You know, there was nothing that was going on.
The New York Times reported, Fraser was a brilliant performer. It was a classic cold reading, all generalized notions searching for someone slightly more specific to move on to. And this is called cold reading.
The whole article, and what was it? The Operation Peach Pit.
The New York Times reporter Jack Heath was embedded with a team of skeptics to observe what was called Operation Peach Pit.
Yeah, I thought it was a great article, to be honest with you, because, you know, here was somebody who didn't believe in the other side, who didn't believe in the afterlife, who wasn't sure, you know, came in, you know, to bust me thinking, oh, well, this guy must be looking things up, or this guy must be doing this. And then next thing you know, found out that, you know, oh my God, you know, this might be real.
The New York Times reported, Fraser was a brilliant performer. It was a classic cold reading, all generalized notions searching for someone slightly more specific to move on to.
Found out that, you know, oh my God, you know, this might be real.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying?
So I know you guys are waiting for the last hit, but there's just one more thing that I want to show you. If this is true, what is he doing is not just a scam. What is he doing is totally illegal. I mean, just look at this. Someone wrote a comment on one of his videos. I was there for this one. And someone asked, is it true that Matt just meets with no possible clue? And someone else wrote that people have to pay to attend these live readings. Matt will have their credit card details, names and address prior to the reading. Obituaries are often in the public domain. Sometimes he says things that are so personal that would be difficult to access that info. But having said that, I wonder if they do background checks and gather info on people. He chooses who he'll do a reading for, so it is not a random pick. Who knows? And look at this one. They do background checks. And if you go to his website, you know that to get a reading, you have to give all your information, your credit card and everything. Alright, so let's go to the one that we were talking about. Let's go to the full reading.
I just felt like this was an overdose, or there was an issue with drugs or an overdose right here.
Yeah, possibly.
Who is that to you?
Oh God, it's hard to say on the air, but there could be somebody.
I'll talk. Do you want me to talk to you afterwards, off the air about it?
No, you can just do it here. As
because
long as
he's in my ear and he kept saying to me, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," when I'm connecting with him.
Oh wow.
And he's telling me that there was a lot of issues that he had here in the physical world, and he actually tells me that he was trying to get clean and trying to change his life around when he was here. Do you understand that?
Yes, I totally understand.
And he says to me that his death came as a shock because he wasn't supposed to be on drugs or wasn't supposed to be using, and that he was going through like some type of a rehab because he showed me him meeting with doctors here in this world.
Yep.
And that his family was all rallying around him. He says, and I want to let my family know that I'm sorry because I let them down in the worst way possible, because he's acknowledging that. Wow. And he's also sorry for the way that he was found as well.
Yes.
Because he's acknowledging that. And
alright, who's this person? Let's go to the comments. So this is one of his fans. This is not even someone that criticizing him or something like that. I googled Mac Miller Bryan. Rich Brian came up. He's a big artist who gave a shout out to Mac in one of his songs and tweeted about his death. Maybe they are friends. Mac Miller, the rapper. So when you search up Mac Miller on Google, you're gonna find so many articles about his death. When does this psychic talk about Mac? So this is a re-upload, but the original one is 2020. And this article on the NBC News is 2019. Let's see what the article says. Federal prosecutors have charged a Hollywood Hills man in connection with the death of hip-hop artist Mac Miller, who was found dead of a drug overdose nearly a year ago. We have also another article on New Yorker on 2018 that says fans speculated that the artist who spoke publicly about his struggle with addiction had died of an accidental overdose. And what was he saying?
I just felt like this was an overdose, so there was an issue with drugs or an overdose right here. He wasn't supposed to be on drugs or wasn't supposed to be using.
Of an accidental overdose.
And this is not on Google, correct?
Alright, but is this person really Mac Miller? Let's see.
He says, and the one thing that I want my family to know is that I'm sorry for what had happened, because he's acknowledging that.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Thank you for telling me this.
He's also whispering in my ear. I keep hearing Brian. Who's Brian?
Probably someone within his circle.
I felt like this was a friend of his, like somebody here in the physical world, not somebody who had died, because he's telling me this name. So it's going to be somebody who was either connected to him at the time or connected to him at the time or close with him at the time.
Who's Brian? Somebody in a physical world, not somebody that has died. I googled Mac Miller Brian. Rich Brian came up.
And this is not on Google, correct?
Who's that Brian? Why does he think that he was his friend? So we have a Rich Brian who's also a rapper, and he's talking about R.I.P. Mac. So if you search up Mac Miller Brian, the first thing comes up is this. September 2018. This is unbelievable. R.I.P. Mac Miller, thank you for your beautiful work while you were here. This shit has got to stop happening. Another tweet from 2017 that shows Rich Brian is a friend with Mac Miller. He's replying to Mac Miller and says, "You can DM me and ask me anything, Mac." So this shows how deep our psychic Google stuff.
And this is not on Google, correct?
So how much is he earning from these scams? So if we just look at his second book on US Amazon, we can see it has more than 1,000 rating. He's selling it for $16, let's say 14. Based on this formula, if you calculate it in mid-low estimate, he's earning $2 million just on US Amazon. Another over $2 million on UK Amazon. And I'm not even talking about Europe. And I'm also not even talking about the other places that he sells the book on. Also, you can book a reading which is sold out with him, but you can book a reading with his mother, and each reading is $3,035. And based on his statement, in less than a year he had 250 clients.
So far, believe it or not, I've already been able to do 250 readings. And during this pandemic.
He also has online group events more than 9 times a month. It is basically a Zoom group meeting that you can have up to 100 people. And for each people, he's charging $19, and it is all sold out, which means all these groups have 100 people in them. So if we even ignore his TV show and how much he made from his 3 courses, we can say based on a very low estimate that he made well over $5 million by scamming people in less than a year. Do you still think I should ignore it and don't care about all these innocent people being scammed? And Matthew, I know you are watching me right now. You didn't see that coming, did you? And this is it for today. Be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. Should I continue exposing these people, or I should just don't care? Also, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, because I have a very good one coming. I'm confronting a psychic live. Till the next time.